Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirited Outdoors. I came down here to the swamp just kind of walking around looking, doing a little scouting. Really hadn't had time to be in the swamp a lot this year yet. Not as much as I like to. And today there's a storm kind of moving in, winds blowing, hadn't really seen much of nothing. It don't seem like there's much moving. But I decided, being it was so beautiful out here, and I didn't bring a tripod or nothing, wasn't planning on filming, but I wanted to talk to you about slipping through the woods. There's a lot of videos on what is known as a fox walk, and you can tell that somebody made a video about this, and then a whole bunch of other people saw it and copied it, and it's really not the way I was taught. It's not the way the Native Americans back in the old days slipped through the woods. And talking to some other people, it really wasn't what they were taught. So it's a lot of people, I reckon, really don't know how to stalk. And we live in a hunting society now that you shoot in house, put out a food plot, and sit there and watch. And for the most part, that's a good idea. I have no problem with hunting that way. I hunt that way some, taking kids and stuff. It's easy. But for the guys like me that are adventurous and of an adventurous spirit, want to go see, wonder what's around the next bend, what's over the next hill, like to move around, can't be still, you need to know how to slip through the woods. It's a good practice. But I want to share with you what I know. Now, to sit here and say this is the correct way, or this is the only way, or this is the best way, I'm not going to say all that. I'm going to share with you how I learned to do it and the way I do it. First principle, slow down. We get entirely, and I am the world's worst to get in a hurry. I got to get yonder. I got to get there before dark, or it's getting daylight, or I'm not going, always something that's pressuring you. Slow down. If you don't get to where you're supposed to be going, don't worry about it. We walk by a lot of game, and then when we get to where we're going, we've got there so fast, they know you're there. Depending on what you're hunting, you need to watch the wind. Your smell, I don't care what scent lock you use, what cover scent, none of that is going to completely eliminate human scent. Deer, pigs especially. Pigs can't hardly see real good. They don't hear real good, but they can smell you unbelievably for a long distance. I've never been around bears. We don't have bears. We don't have a bear season, so I know nothing about bears. But white-tailed deer, they're going to smell you. They can hear you. Squirrels, you don't have to worry about your smell, but you got to be, they see you. A squirrel sees you coming and he's going to hide. So the principles is move slow. The next thing is when you see me slipping through the woods, I'm practically moving from tree to tree to tree. Zigzag pattern, unless, and every time you take a step, I look down and I watch where I want to walk. I pick out the clearest, openest path that I think I can stay kind of undercover or behind a tree, especially if I spot something that I'm trying to slip up on. I'm going to try to keep stuff between me and it. And I'm going to not try to move parallel to it a lot. I want to move directly to it so that I don't, because they're going to spot motion more than anything. But all of that aside, how do you move quietly? How do you walk quietly through the woods? So the way I was taught is you kind of bend your knees a little bit, moving slow, and toes first. As you step, that toe goes down first, and you can kind of tap your toe around and feel what's there. If there's sticks, twigs, leaves, and then once that's there, then you can ease that down. Now, one of the biggest problems is big old clunky boots. You're not going to do a lot of slipping. That's why you saw me go back a few videos back, buy me a pair of good church shoes to slip around in. So I'm going to set this camera up best I can and show you the way I move my feet a little bit. I don't have my tripod with me, so it may not be perfect video, but y'all, the woods is so beautiful. I hated to be down here, and one of probably the few opportunities right now that I'm getting to be in the woods and not film something. It's just I gotta film everything. So let's see if we can make this happen. As you see me step, I'm feeling for what's there. No twig. Then the next step, toe forward, toe down first. Then I can ease my weight onto it. And if I reach out here and I can feel right there what's under me. And then if these roots that are solid, I'm gonna step on that every time, because I know it's not going nowhere. But say this twig is right here, and I'm looking at something, and I feel that move under my foot. Well, my weight's not committed yet. I can ease off of it, and then I can ease my weight down. If you start heel first, your weight is already pulled forward before you do it, and you're putting a lot of strain on your knees. And unless you're very strong in your legs, you're gonna give out pretty quick. But with toes forward, you can pull that toe down. And see, I'm finding them roots. That root ain't gonna crunch like a leaf. Dry leaves. I felt the acorn under there and I moved my foot. So when you step, if you put that heel down first, when you go to put your heel, your weight moves forward, your whole body moves forward because your heel is on the back part of your foot. The term tiptoeing, where do you think that come from? Toes forward, put that toe down first, tiptoe, and then ease your weight down and you can feel what's under your feet. Then I move forward, next step. The next thing is when I'm looking, and I'm gonna turn the camera around forward. If I'm trying to stalk something out there from right now, you don't wanna move around a lot. I look this way, there's a lot of open area. I don't wanna walk through that. I wanna stay close to right here through this line of trees as best I can. So as I move forward, and I'm gonna move a little faster for video purposes than I would if I was really hunting, I'm gonna move up to this tree and I'm gonna stop right here beside it. And I'm gonna look. After I've stood here a few minutes, a minute, at least 30 seconds, scanned around good, not seen no movement, then I'm looking down and I know I wanna step right in this area because there's no twigs. There's roots right here. I'm gonna step there. And then I'm gonna ease my foot down. Now I'm gonna move to this tree here. So we're gonna speed on up now just for and I can move fairly quietly, fairly fast if I need to with these shoes on. I move up to this tree right up here by this poison oak. And I look around. And y'all, the woods are beautiful. I'm scanning to see what's in the water. A lot of animals drinking water, ducks in the water. I use ducks as a sign. If there's ducks swimming around there, I know there's probably not nothing that spooked them like a deer or a pig or anything in that area. And if I want to know if there's ducks in the water, I look at the water first. If that water's got ripples and moving, I know something's stirring in that water, so I stand here extra long trying to figure out what that is. But if I decide, hey, I want to go that direction, well, see, right now I've got all this stuff, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get my foot to that root right there. But then it's kind of open, so I would move that way. but I've got twigs here. So you've got to watch and not fool with a bunch of that stuff. And if there's something out there you're trying to stalk, you don't want to move parallel this way to it. You want to stay moving directly towards it because there's less of your movement being seen. So now I would move this way. And I'm gonna move over here by these trees. And I'm moving toes down. Now I'm gonna stand next to this tree. This is just some basic principles that maybe will help some of you that didn't have somebody to teach you these things. I was fortunate. I had some good teachers. I've picked up information from a lot of different people. My daddy took me hunting and taught me a lot of things. And it's important to keep that knowledge in your mind and pass it along because we're losing it, y'all. So that's why I share and do these short videos. I'm gonna try not to, I may show you some more clips of the woods. I was really just down here today for the peace of mind. With a rifle, I could have killed her easy. Might have could have killed her with a bow if I'd have had it. Didn't really interested in shooting her this morning. I could have killed her with this .22 rifle, but that would not be legal. Sure wouldn't have done it on camera. But anyway, you can slip up on stuff the way I'm doing. I got proof. anyway because she was right there. We were within 20 yards of that deer while I was filming. And she still hadn't run slam off. But now she did know I was here and she was curious about me, but we had not spooked her. She didn't know what I was. She hadn't decided that I was human. So one more thing, identifying some sign I wanted to show you. I have seen a hog waller back there. I should have filmed it. A lot of rooting, but I didn't know which way them hogs went when they left over yonder. I'll show you. This is not deer scat. That is wild pig. And then this right here too. So being able to identify that kind of stuff will help you a lot in learning where what went. I turn around, there's a little bit of hog rooting. Can't really tell. I should have videoed that waller back under. There's a big old spot in a trail back there that they just... So there is wild pigs, and I know there's some rooting that I saw back the way I'm headed back out, the way I'm going. So if I happen back up on it, I was kind of looking for mushrooms, and there aren't any. It has been way too dry here in Mississippi for us to have mushrooms. So anyway. Now that was deer scat. You kind of see the difference in it. So letting you know what's feeding under these trees, and that's what that's from. They feeding under these white oaks. You see behind me, that's a white oak tree. Oh. This be the leaves off of a white oak tree. And you can tell by that scaly looking bark. And there's several of them in this area that I'm in. You can see that one. And then you can see, I have to watch bending down with this rifle dangling. I was showing clips of these acorns, and I know it's hard to tell how big they are, but these are fairly large acorns. Now that cap obviously didn't come off of that acorn, but these are big acorns. And that right there, very fresh hog rooting. Laying all this down to timber. Found me some old turkey tail. Ain't in good shape though. Also, finding where they have bit these helps you know where they feeding at. See, that has been eat on. But anyway, we closing this video out. We've been slipping around. We fixing to head back to the house. So thank y'all for watching Spirited Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all next time.